Hey guys, so today we are going to be doing a beach resort speed build. Now in total this took me about 3 hours to put together, but today's only going to take about 40 minutes. So I started off in Saloni with a 50 by 50 lot, and I decided to go ahead and name the lot and give it its features first, which normally I do that at the end. But since I knew what I was building, I thought I'd start off with that. I ended up choosing 3 condos. I thought that would be the ideal number since this was such a large lot, and I wanted to give everyone plenty of space. For the actual condo sizes, I didn't plan out any measurements. It was completely random on what I wanted. I just drew rectangles and decided I would work with what I had. And I made sure to put everything on stilts, that way it didn't have weird concrete blocks coming out of the floor. And I knew having a deck that connected everything would be really important, so I decided to put that in before I started doing the layout for any of the houses. This was actually a really interesting challenge. It wasn't difficult, but it was just interesting trying to figure out how I wanted to lay everything. I knew I wanted all 3 of them to be connected, but spread out as well, and for them each to have their own space. I decided not to have a walkway going all the way around the middle house and just to have it connect on either side. I could have chose to go with a smaller walkway, but you'll see later how I fill it up and make it all usable space. When I was doing the floor for the walkway, I originally thought about doing a light color, but I realized a darker color would be a much better contrast to the blue waves. For each of the condos, I wanted them to look similar but not the same. I wanted them each to have their own features and own design, but there are some things I wanted them to have that were the same. The doors and windows and exterior trim, I wanted all of them to be the same. That way they had a matching look. When placing the doors and windows, I really didn't think too much about it because I knew I could go back later and adjust them as I put the floor plan in. I just knew I wanted a lot of light coming in these houses and a lot of windows, that way they had plenty of spaces and opportunities to see the ocean view. So after placing all the doors and windows, I decided to do the outside walls. And oh no, I started with the inside walls. I wanted to do something very oceany and bright, and so I started off with this wallpaper, and then I did the outside with the lava rock. And when I went to the second house, I tried that trim and it just really didn't work. And I found this, it's like a shiplap almost. And I picked a bright blue for that one, and I went back to the first house and changed it to orange. And then the third house I went with the white. And I stick with those color themes in each house. Originally, I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do with the roofs on each of these houses. I just knew I wanted them to be fairly flat. I started looking at the straw, but I ended up going with the glass roof again, just to let in all that light. And really, if you were staying there in real life, how cool would that be to have a glass roof to where you could just look up at the stars at night while you listen to the ocean waves? Like, I just thought that'd be a really cool feature to have. Now this roof on the middle house, I ended up flipping it around a few different times, trying to figure out which way I wanted it to go. And I keep coming back to it, and finally I settle on having the tall part being toward the middle like the other two. So that way the water would drain to the outside of the lot and not to the inside of the lot. So once I got the outside, the inside walls, and the roofs on, I just started on the first house. And I start with putting a bed in. So I knew I wanted this first house to be kind of like the honeymoon suite, just where it's the smallest one, and that way it could sleep two, but have a lot of nice amenities with it as well. And I knew I wanted the bedroom to be on that back end, and the kitchen and living area to be on the front end. I also wanted the bathroom in this house to be connected to the bedroom. And so I take some time arranging the bathroom and figuring out how I actually want it. And I end up changing it a few different times. Since the walls were orange, I decided to go with an orange countertop. Again, I just thought that would tie everything in, just like the bedspread has orange as well. Once I get the bathroom walls in, I'm able to get everything positioned in there to where I like it. I just moved the window to fit everything. It actually worked out nice that I moved the bathroom window and the bedroom window to match, because then the bed is lined up exactly with the window. For the interior doors, I kept them very simple. I didn't do anything crazy or fancy with them. I really didn't feel like there was a need to. Now you'll notice when I put the bedroom wall in, I leave a kind of a little nook, because I thought that would just be the perfect spot to put a bookshelf that was out of the way, especially since this one is the smallest and the bedroom doesn't really need that little strip. Like I said, that little nook was just perfect for a bookshelf, and I tried a few different shelves and I finally end up with one that I like. At first I thought about doing the kitchen on the same size as the bookshelf, but then I realized that that would be ideal living space and having the kitchen be on the other side. Oh, that's right. I did change the countertop in the bathroom from orange to blue, because I thought that would be a nice color contrast with the warm and the cool. I did forget I did that. I thought about doing upper cabinets, but decided against it, and decided to add a few little accent pieces. The kitchen, since this condo is only for 2 people, it didn't need to be very big. Especially since that would just take up unnecessary room. And then the little dining area is there right next to the kitchen. And I wanted to put the living area looking out that window that was in there. And that way they can sit and have a view. There's not a desk in here, there's not TV, there's not any of that type of stuff because I wanted them to enjoy the area that they're in. And again, I went with blue accents to color contrast the orange walls. I ended up finding a few different pictures in the art section that I thought fit the theme of the house, because those walls just looked really bare and they needed a little something. I had a really hard time deciding what floors I wanted for this house. I started off with wood, then I tried brick, and I keep going back and forth until I finally picked something. I'm not really sure what I ended up going with at this point. I just knew I didn't want it to be the same as the wood on the walkway. And I'm pretty sure I do that same flooring in all 3 condos. This is when I discovered that there was a glass floor option in the kitchen decoration area. So I take out the rug, or move it I guess, and put a glass floor. That way you're sitting in the living area, you can sit there, watch fish swim underneath you, and look out at a beautiful view. And this is where I'm just trying to place different little accents and stuff just to give it a little more filled up feel, and that way it's just not super empty. I thought about putting that mermaid treasure chest, but then I just felt like it was a little bit too tacky. I also wanted to incorporate the life preserver, but it just didn't go as well as I hoped that it would. I didn't want any overhead lights. I don't think I put any overhead lights in any way. Oh, maybe I do. I didn't want a whole lot of overhead lights. I remember right, I only put one in the kitchen area, one in the living area, and then one in the bathroom, and then I leave the bedroom with the 2 wall lights. And I thought about trying to put wall lights on that other side, but it just didn't look right. So I think that pretty well wraps up the first condo, and then I start to work on the second condo. And for this one, again, I wanted the bed to be on the far side away from the sand and the beach area. And since I did blue walls here, I kind of wanted more orangey accents, but not overwhelmingly orange. In each of the condos, I went with the same style bed and the same style nightstands. Because again, I wanted them to have this cohesive feel, but each of them be their own identity. Laying out this one was a little bit tricky because this one I wanted it to be able to sleep a family of 4. So I end up with 1 master bed, 1 bathroom, and then a double, like a room with 2 twin beds. And I wanted the bedroom, both bedrooms and the bathroom all to be on that same wall. And at first I was going to try and put 2 bathrooms, but then I realized that just was overkill and wasn't going to work, so I ended up rearranging the whole bathroom before I start working on the other bedroom. I think that's how it ends up going. So that area right there, I realized was just right to fit 2 twin beds and 1 nightstand. Now at this point I really wasn't sure how I was going to do the wall because the bathroom wall was pushed further back than the master bedroom. And I didn't want to move the master bedroom wall because I feel like it would make it too cramped. So I rearranged the bathroom to fit with where the door is. And I ended up having to get rid of the clawfoot tub in exchange for a shower. So for I'm just going to call it the kids' bedroom. For the kids' bedroom, I end up bringing it out to the same level as the master bedroom area and having the bathroom be recessed a little bit. This is where I started working on some of the living room furniture and placement. And that was a little bit difficult for me with where the kids' bedroom door was, because I wanted the door to be centered. I didn't want to have to move it either way. And since the walls in here are blue, I went with orange accent furniture. And I thought about doing the same thing in here as I did in the honeymoon suite, or I guess honeymoon condo, with having the glass panels on the floor in the living area, but I end up moving it into the kids' bedroom area and just putting a carpet in this living area. Because how cool would it be if you were a kid going and staying at a beach resort and you could see fish swimming right next to your bed? And so that was kind of my idea for that, but I knew the adult bedroom, it would look weird having something like that in there. For the kitchen area, I chose to go with white countertops just because they're bright and they are not... I just felt like the orange would be too much in this one if I did orange countertops with orange accents. And just like the honeymoon condo, they didn't feel like they need a huge amount of kitchen space. Placing the dining room table was interesting, just like placing some of the living room furniture because of where the bedroom door is located. On each of the dining room tables in each condo, I place a bottle of champagne on ice. I just felt like if you're going to a really nice resort like this, you would expect to have something like this complimentary waiting for you, just like the fruit bowl on the island. And so I just add a few more little details here and there in the second house, and then that's when I start working on the third house. I guess condo. I don't know why I'm calling it a house. It's a condo. Condo house, whatever. So for some reason in this one, I start by placing a wall going along the back end. And I remember this one being quite difficult to arrange. I thought about putting a shower and a tub because this one was the largest one and I wanted it to be able to hold up to 6 people. Since the walls and floors are white. I did end up putting an orange countertop just for the color. And I'm pretty sure my original idea was to have that big open area that's connected to the bathroom be the master suite. But eventually I do realize that it is way too large, and I end up rearranging it. Just like this bathroom is awkwardly positioned and everything's kind of weird. Now I don't remember if this condo has one bathroom or two. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, yeah, so by this point I realized that that was just going to be way too much space for a master suite. And again, I wanted to be able to have 4 twin beds, so I thought about trying to fit them all in one room, but I realized that that just won't work. And I tried even rearranging it to get 3 beds in there, but it still just wasn't working how I wanted it to. So I finally just decided to put the wall in there, pick the master bed, which has orange accents, and you'll notice the kids' beds have orange and blue in this room, and then I end up adding another room, and I'm pretty sure I go with more blue accents in that room. And again, with the white nightstands, just like all the other rooms have had in each of the condos. At this point, I'm just looking for little accent pieces and decorations to go in there, kind of fill up that space, because those bedrooms are a little bit long, and I think I cut them a little bit shorter, if I remember right. At least the kids' bedroom and the bathroom. So I don't think I cut the master wall because of the way that door is positioned, because that door leads straight out to the back deck. And the only house that doesn't have a door to the master bedroom have a door to the deck is the middle one, because there's not a good way to get to a deck from there. And once I make the kids' bedroom and the bathroom smaller, it opens up space in the main part of the house. And then I decide to put another kid's bedroom over on that other end. I could have made that spot that I'm making the second kid's bedroom the bathroom, but I liked how the bathroom was in the corner, kind of tucked out of the way, and not jutting out into the main living area. For this one, I did go with the orange countertops because everything was so white in there. I just felt like that would make the most sense to have the orange countertops, especially since they have a lot of orange accents. And since this condo sleeps up to 6, I felt that having a larger kitchen area would be necessary, especially if you're cooking there and prepping for that many people. Of course, each of the condos have the fruit basket, which I really like. For this one, I was going to start off by doing the circular table like I did the other two, but I realized that it wouldn't hold the amount of people and it wouldn't really look right. So I went with this white table and white chairs that can also seat up to 6. I remember seeing these panels and I just thought they were really cool and that I wanted to use them in one of the houses. So I use them here as a divider between the dining area and the living area. And it just adds that little bit of extra pizzazz to the house. Plus it has those little see-through strips, so it's not like a full-on wall. And all of the condos have the same style couch and chairs. I do try and put a coffee table in here, but if I remember right, I end up taking it out because it just doesn't work. And because this condo sleeps 6, I needed more than 1 couch and 2 chairs. And I thought about trying those round chairs, but I didn't like how they fit. And I liked the wicker ones a lot better. And I didn't like that coffee table because it just made it look like there was 3 rectangles in a row. And none of the other coffee tables really fit the theme. So I just went with a rug in between everything. That would just be a good sitting area for everyone to sit and talk. In the middle condo, I really didn't do a whole lot of wall decoration. I didn't feel like there was a ton of areas where there was a lot of empty space on the walls. But since this one is the largest one, it definitely needed a little bit of artwork. And the computer I was working on this didn't have any custom content downloaded. So the art I was limited to was limited to the base game and anything that I got in the packs that I have. So I tried to put as many things that went with the theme as possible. Again, I tried to do the life preservers, but it just didn't work inside the house. I had almost forgotten to go back in and finish the walls of the rooms that I had added on. And for some reason I really like that spice rack, so I put it in a lot of the builds that I do. I hadn't realized that I had misplaced the counters and the stove away from the wall, so I adjusted all of that to make it fit a little bit better. Which also gave me the opportunity to add another cabinet and just give it that little bit extra space. I really had a difficult time trying to arrange all of the artwork in the kitchen. And the counters just looked super duper empty, so they needed a little something. I put a wine rack in there. I think I'd try and put coffee mugs or a coffee pot just to try and get it all to fit and work together. So once I get everything all laid out, I go back in and add the lights and just kind of take a step back at each of the 3 condos. I really wanted to put a pool in this middle area, but it just would not let me put a pool there, so I was really disappointed. Even me putting a floor in there, it still wouldn't let me put a pool. And I think I tried a few different ways to get a pool in there, because that was just like something I really thought would be cool. But I do end up going with making this more of a wade pool area, lounge area, where they have their own private beach and they don't have to really worry about large waves coming in. It's just a nice area to relax. And you also don't have to worry about, if you're floating on one of those little rafts, you don't have to worry about going out into the middle of the ocean. And here's where I tried expanding the deck to where I can attempt to put a pool in here, and it will not let me. So that made me sad, but it still works out really nice in the end. I still think it looks really, really good. And I forgot in this bedroom that in this condo that I wanted the kids' bedrooms to have the glass in the floor as well, so they can see the fish and whatever may be swimming under there. I also wanted each condo to have its own grill, sitting area, hot tub, jet skis, and just have their own space. Now the largest condo has that entire side. The other two condos don't connect to that. The smaller condo and the honeymoon condo, they have to share a smaller deck area, but it all works out really nice because back on the side, on the one that has the largest condo closest to the sand, that deck area, there ends up being a communal fire pit on that, and it just looks really nice. I wanted there to be play stuff for the kids because obviously this is made for families. And so I start off by putting a swing set there in the middle, but I realized that's just not a good spot, so I do end up moving it. I know realistically right there's probably not the best place to put a fire pit. The whole deck could burn down. I probably should have put it on the sand, but I liked how it looked and I thought it would be cool. Be cool. Also, each of the condos have their own picnic table as well. And each condo has 2 jet skis that they have access to that they can use. I tried to think of as many things and activities that someone might want to do while they stayed at a beach resort like this, something that they wouldn't have to leave the actual resort, that they would have everything that they need. Originally, I had thought about arranging the chairs for the honeymoon suite and the family of 4 to where they would have to share the lounge chairs, but I ended up changing that later to where they each have their own sets. And of course the pirate ship playset was ideal. I mean, you're on the beach, a pirate ship is just perfect for it. And swings and monkey bars as well. And I did it on the side that the kids would be on. That way the honeymoon suite area, the people too, it was kind of a little bit more away from them. Trying to figure out how I wanted all of this arranged was a challenge for me because I just was trying to fit too much in one area. But luckily I end up working it out to where everything fits really nicely after I move the honeymoon suite to the other side where that hot tub is right now. That ends up being their space. I really liked the idea of enlarging these tropical arches. I just thought it was really nice to tie everything together. And of course they need ladders to climb on and off of the deck to get to the jet skis. So I made sure that there was at least 2 ladders. I do also add a vending machine just for convenience. It's not really for anything in particular other than convenience. And I wanted at least 2 of these cabanas. I don't know what I was thinking. I tried putting multiple and it just wasn't turning out, and I tried putting the covered one and it was just too much. So I ended up getting rid of the covered one and one of the other ones and putting these 2 close to the little cubby wake, well, I don't know what to call it. And I end up laying beach towels out along there so people could lay out on the beach in the sun or the shade and just relax. Kids could play at the playground, they could play in the water, people could relax on the floaties or lay out on the beach. So there's just plenty of options for everybody. Again, the big thing in this is I just wanted there to be everything in one place where people really didn't have to go out away from the resort. And I thought of what I would want if I was going to a resort like this, what features I would want to have access to. I did decide to go ahead and add exterior curtains on the bathrooms and bedrooms just for privacy. Not like it really matters in The Sims, but it gave it a nice aesthetic and kind of broke up the rock exterior. But at this point, I'm really just putting on the finishing touches and making little detail adjustments. I do have to say, I really liked how this turned out. In the end, I think it'd be a wonderful place. I would want to go stay there on vacation for sure. Honestly, I'd be happy staying in any of those condos. And you have access to so many really cool amenities. Your own deck space, own ocean area, private beach. I mean, seriously, how much better could it get? Of course, now I've been daydreaming about going to the beach, if you can't tell. And usually when we go and do things like this, we go with, there's a large group of us that go, so there would definitely be room for at least 3 different families to go and stay, where they could have space to do a lot of stuff together, but then also be spread out and have their own space as well. But I'm pretty sure this just kind of wraps it up, putting final little details on it, just making sure everything's where I want it, looks how I want it to look. And I made sure that there was enough outdoor lounge chairs for each person staying in each condo. But that's pretty much all I've got. I'll let you guys watch the final touches be put on there. The link to my gallery is down below if you want to check this out and play with it on your own. Anyways, that's all I've got for you guys today. I love ya. I'll see you next time.